Welcome back to another review and feedback with me, Ritho. Ha ha ha. Alright, I got another one off of StarCraft subreddits, specifically all things Zerg. Cheers. I know I promised you a video for Friday. I failed miserably. Kids are great. They make it really fun to do things when you want to do it. But I don't want to hold you up too long. This is a diamond tier. They want me to be brutally honest about their gameplay. They are a Zerg player, so we're going to focus on the Zerg side this time around. But let's jump right into it, and hopefully we have a good game. And of course, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. So, in the lower or upper right-hand corner, we have our submitter, Krabbypasta. In the lower left-hand corner, we have, I don't know how to say that, kneghbb, like Dagobah, but with a K instead. I don't know. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking for opportunities to optimize, opportunities to improve their play. One would be getting your workers on the closer patches, especially when they're available. That actually increases your income a little bit, not an amazing amount, but it does increase it a little bit. You'll see pros doing it, and they'll see them like clicking, click, 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 to make it so the workers go to where you want. 16 hatch isn't a bad choice. It makes it hard for your opponent to block you. It's very economic. Nothing crazy. I don't hate it, but it happens. We go double. Okay, turn. I think we're short a worker here. Yeah, you're short a worker. This is 15. You are short one worker working on your minerals. So basically, you needed to have one more supply of workers before you got down to the lower ground. You could do that. I guess it's slightly early. Not like, oh my gosh, early, but it's slightly early. But it does put you behind economically. It is important as Zerg to be very economic focused. Let's go ahead and watch your camera so that we can just chat and hang out. I don't have to click on everything all the time. And I am going to stop clicking on things so you can see him flick through stuff. From a review feedback standpoint, this is a little bit too much jumping around, but I know that you want to keep your fingers nimble and warm and making it so that you're able to do stuff. You're floating a little bit of resources for what you're doing. If you had timed it correctly, meaning that you had waited for that extra worker, you would have had 100 gas. You can see the difference in time as a few seconds. The spawning pool can hang out a little bit later. Why are we sending a gas boy down here? I mean, I guess we're just going to get income and push off the SCV. I don't know. I don't love what was going on there, but there's a Reaper. Good hide. Keep those on creep. Pull the one that's weakest back furthest if you can help it. If you're playing against decent players, they'll focus it down like this one. This needs to be pulled back. Click, 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 click. The hold was good. I like the hold position. Get that creep tumor down. Don't do it with it out front. Nope, he's going to knock it down. You're going to lose that. You want to put your queen in front of it and then put it down. That way it's that much more difficult for him to get it. It's a little bit far out. You can pull that back faster, right? Remember your queen. You got to pull back. You don't do squat off of creep. He can run right by you. Yeah, you have a couple lings, but they're not speed lings. Your speed's kind of late. Very late, actually. So that kind of hurts a little bit. This should be on a pillar. Like, you poke in, make sure that they're building it, and then you get to the pillar, or you go here and then go back in. Obviously, it's a Reaper fight. This queen is just sort of kind of out in Narnia. No injects. They're super slow. So we have one inject, no inject, nothing, and no creep expand. Like, pull this. There's another. This is just late. You're like, just everything's a little bit late, to say the least. I'm not expecting you to be Cyril, but I definitely want you to be more on top of expanding your creep, doing your injects. Like, you're missing an inject up here. You have larva floating. You're getting a lot of gas. So either you need to like get ready to spend that gas. You have enough for a layer. So are we going layer? Or are we going Banes? What are we doing? It's tons of gas. And generally, as a Zerg, you want to pull off gas, stay off gas until you're ready to go up in tech. You saw, what was that? Marine? Yeah, he's just patrolling.
A new queen
there's
has
the Reaper.
A new queen has emerged.
I do like the number of queens, but I think more drones is more important. You have vision on what your opponent's doing. You're kind of just playing defensive, doing your thing. There's your changeover. All right, so turn that into a spore if you want to be real quick. You want to cut off. You don't need to like take 2 this way, 1 the other way. That way you can get a little bit more damage. Try and focus the Hellion because the Reaper is what they want to have take the brunt of the attacks because it survives. More queens. You need more queens, queens, queens. Oops. You need queens all over the place. You do not have enough queens at all. Too much gas? Not enough queens. Oh, that's not too bad. Drone count's really low, relatively speaking. You're at 50. You should be probably about 60-ish right now. Lots of energy, not expanding. Creep, 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 creep. Creep, 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 creep. If you're using 4 of these as your creep expand, as your creepers, and one of these 2 is like injectors, make sure that you're doing it appropriately. You can see the wall from where it was over here. He's putting this in the wall. You saw the Banshee, good job. Spores, 1's already done, already done, already done.
We have met the enemy in
Floating a whole bunch of money. What are you spending?
A new queen.
So much money. Spire. If you're going Spire, build your Spire. If you're going Bane, yeah. This look. Look at how much gas you have. All right, we're at 5 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. You have 500 gas. You have 2 choices: going up the Hive real fast and getting lurkers real fast, or going Mutas. Banes, you don't. I mean, you need the gas, but this is so much at this point in the game, and you're so far behind on your income. You should be almost on. You should be on like 4 base already, and your creep should be like out here, out here, out here, out here, out here. These creep tumors are sitting still for a long, 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 long time. The other thing of it is like, well, yeah, you got information that you saw the Banshee, cool. You didn't have that information until recently. If they'd done like a Marine Hellion tank push with the like 2 Hellions and Reaper you had against you, if this army was on the other side actually doing its job, cleaning up creep and stuff, this creep wouldn't exist, and they'd be killing off drones and cutting you off and cutting you in half. You would not be able to survive. You don't have enough lings for it. Like, if he just attacks with this, you're just dead. These Banshees were fighting with these. He could kill all of these queens, all of these lings, and you would be in trouble. All of these, like, you'd just be hurting. You'd be dead, probably, honestly. At least you know what the follow-up is. This is a good sack. I like that a lot. But yeah, I'm very scared for you right now. You don't have enough income. You don't have enough army. Your queen count's solid. I like your queen count, but like your resource balance is all off. You're not teching in a way that makes sense, right? With how much gas you have and how much you've been gathering for so long this game, and then not continuing to. If you're gonna get gas, right? If not, you need to get that Baneling Nest way earlier, because the Baneling Nest is gonna save you from slow Marines and keep them off creep. And the other problem is you got to keep them off creep. Your creep is so close. Like this creep is nothing. Like this, why are we not spreading our creep? The normal rotation for Zerg, in my opinion, Cyril does something kind of like this. Other Zergs do different things. That is, hey guys, I'm floating 2k resources. What should I do? Triple expand where you don't have creep connecting. No macro hatches. Oh, we're gonna grab. Okay.
Our forces are under attack.
It's very, very obvious you don't have a plan on how you're playing. Like, you just... Like, where are you headed? Okay, fine. You're going to Infestation and Hydra and gonna do your Bane thing. Like, okay, fine. That's what you're actually doing. But, like... on 2 base ish with 3 evos.
Our forces are
What
under
is this?
attack.
6 hatcheries, 7 hatcheries. Your opponent is, I would almost guarantee it, on 3 base and not fully saturated. You could be so far ahead by literal miles because you didn't inject. Your injects were so weak. Your creep spread is so weak, so you don't know where you're getting attacked. You don't have the army to defend anything. Like, this player is being very passive, and they would and could roll you really easily. Like, you don't have anything to deal with this at all. Like, your lurkers need to be done already, or you need about 60 lings, and you don't have either. So you're just gonna, like, probably lose right here. Yeah. This is very much, how do I articulate what's going on here? You overexpanded because you had resources, but the reason you had resources is because you were missing your macro cycles. And the reason you were missing your macro cycles is because you just weren't doing it. And the macro cycles, what they are, quite literally, are build your buildings, build your units rather. The units, so drones, lurkers, whatever, right? Hydra. I think you get what I'm trying to say. Basically, you want to build units out of your hatcheries. Inject. Creep spread. Check your opponent's army, whatever, your attack, your run-bys, whatever. Repeat. At no point did you truly threaten your opponent. Like, you were on your side of the map the entire game, aside from your overlords. And you floated so many resources. So, and your resource collection was lesser than what it should have been basically the whole game. I get floating resources. I'm a diamond about 3 Zerg-ish. I'm like a D3, maybe a low D2. I tend to overexpand and not tech enough. Basically what I'm saying is like I stay on minerals until I'm on like 7 base, which is not right. You have the opposite problem. You get all the gas and not enough income to be able to deal with your opponent. But you didn't do anything with the gas, essentially. I would have probably split my queens up a little bit more. But, like, where did you attack your opponent? Where did you pressure them? Where did you tell them to do anything other than macro, basically to the army they wanted, in the timing they wanted? I didn't see it at all. You were always on your side of the map. So, let's go through the good. The good. You played the game. I'm just kidding. That's a little mean. That's a little mean. Realistically speaking, the good. You recognize that there's an opportunity for you to be better. You're saying, I don't quite know what's going on. I'm asking for help. How can I get better? First things first is get a plan. I'm going to go to lurkers. When you experiment and go after that plan at lower levels, not following builds, not having really great control, not understanding the game very effectively, you just sort of kind of follow the tech tree as fast as you can up that line, trying to go to that unit or unit composition that you're looking for. Hydra Lurker, Broodlord Corruptor, whatever it is. And you tend to stay on like 1 or 2 bases, and you tend to not saturate fully, you tend to not pressure your opponent, you tend to focus explicitly on going after that build. That's one path players go. Second path players go. They figure out a cheese because they say, I want to kill my opponent fast because I see all these people teching forever and then I can't kill them. They have these ultimate units and I can't kill them. And they go after that path. That's option 2. Option 3 is I'm going to gather resources and as fast as I can. And I'm going to get as many resources as I can in the game, and I'm going to win because I have the best resource income. And I'm just going to throw waves of units. By the way, that's the Zerg strategy. Option 4. This is somebody that is good enough at understanding the units. This is, I think, where you are, just to be very clear. You're good enough to understand the units and how to use them, and basically how to get the income to do the things that you're trying to do, but you don't quite have a plan where you're trying to get to. Let's use Terran as the most clear example. This is the best race for it because they're very rigid with regards to their building structures. It's very difficult to like transition away from what you're doing. So like going from bio to mech to sky Terran is very hard. It's better to just say, I'm going bio and doing it really, really well. Versus like Protoss where they kind of like, I'm going to get one Robo and then I'm going to get 3 Stargate. I'm going to get, you know what I mean? Like they kind of build their structures in a way that's not a linear path and staying down that path. Because you go, I'm going to go Immortals and then I'm going to go Void Rays or Carriers. And you can do that. Or I'm going to go Robo, then Storm, then Sky. That's a good strategy, generally speaking. Or vice versa. You might go Sky, then Storm, and then you might add in a Robo much later because you're tired of losing your Oracles because you're not very good at spellcasting. My point that I'm trying to say is that Terran has a very rigid structure that you have to kind of follow to do really well. If you go 2-1-1, you're going bio, you're going to build up more barracks, you're going to get ghosts, etc. You're going to blend in some tanks or Widow Mines. You choose one or the other. And you're going to blend in Liberators, Medevacs, and maybe Banshees. And a Raven here or there. That's about all you're going to do with that build, right? It's very rigid with regards to like the tech path you're going. And to transition to say go full sky to go mech from bio, you just don't do it because you have to build like 10 factories. You got to build a bunch of the complete upgrades for that entire other path, so on and so forth. My point that I'm trying to communicate is that you need to have a goal. Where are you trying to get to? If you're trying to go Lurker Hydra, or Hydra Lurker, whatever, you need to go follow that path to get there, to get the upgrades you need to be successful with that composition. And you need to make it so that you're safe on your way doing that. But you're trying to get as much income to get there as fast as possible and or have the largest army as possible when you get there. Those are your two choices, right? Fast as possible because, you know, Lurkers are a pain in the ass to just deal with. Or have the biggest army. I'm going to have 10 Lurkers. Good luck, buddy. Right? You can have 2 Lurkers and it's really a pain and you have some Hydras covering it and you just keep your opponent on 2 base and you get to like 5 and you then squash them afterwards. Or you say, I'm going to defend anything you throw at me and I'm going to get 20 Lurkers and 50 Hydras and you're just dead, right? That's the two like primary strategies. So what I mean by this is that you had a decent starting build, other than you kind of didn't, you were 1 drone short of the build. Basically, you saturated 15 instead of 16, which hurts a lot. I don't know if you do that every game, but it's something to like identify as a big problem that hurts your income later on when you need that income, when they're getting ready to pressure you, etc. The next piece is that, sorry, my watch just went off, I don't care. The next piece is that once you know what you need, not the pros, you need, right? If he had attacked you with 6 Hellions and a Reaper, would you have survived? Did you have enough forewarning to move your units into the right location to survive? That's Overlord spread. That's Creep spread. That's Queen and Ling positioning to make it so that you can have enough Queens in enough areas that they can tank until your Lings can get there and your other Queens can run across. And obviously, were you ready for the appropriate tech harassment that they did? This guy did Banshees. You were perfect on it. No complaints. I do like the fact that you were very on top of that. Like, that was... Well. So, the point then, essentially, you just kind of look at what people are doing and try and understand why they're doing it and try and realize the timing of what your opponent's doing. So, a fast singular Banshee hits around 430. Give or take, 445, 430, depending on the size of the map and if they push it super hard and if their macro is good or not, blah, blah, blah. Point being is it's somewhere between 430 and 445, so at about 425, 430 in that area, you want to start your spore crawlers. You did a good job, a little late, but you also scouted it very effectively, so I can't really... I'm not like, oh, you didn't do this, da, 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 da. But your opponent also didn't attack with it until much later. Which, to be fair, 2 Banshees can do a lot of damage, and you didn't really take much from it. So, good job on that. But after that harassment, you didn't set up any run-bys, you didn't scout anymore, you didn't... You floated a bazillion resources, you teched into Banelings super late. Like, you could have just skipped Banelings and it wouldn't have changed your strategy at all. You could have had that extra gas and had more Hydras. But you didn't build any Hydras, you, like, got the building, and you just never built the units. And you had the Lurker Den already done, essentially, or you started getting the Lurker Den essentially immediately, and you never got to the point where you were even remotely close to doing that tech. You did not have enough workers. You need, as Zerg, you need somewhere around 85. It's like the upper end, but 85 is just a good number to shoot for, so that way you know how much income you have, so how fast you can repopulate everything. Your macro hatches were slow, your expansions were slow, your Overlord spread was non-existent, your creep spread was basically non-existent. There's a lot of opportunities to improve. Your upgrades were okay. Late, but okay. You actually got them, is what I'm trying to say. And I didn't really pay too close attention to your saturation. I think you never really oversaturated, because you really never had the worker count to oversaturate. You just were so low on your workers that you were just in trouble the whole game, and you just didn't realize that you were 20 plus workers behind your opponent for a solid like 3 minutes of the game. Like, you didn't replace the workers when enough of the workers when he attacked initially with that not the first attack with the single Reaper, not the second attack where it was 1 Reaper and 2 Hellions, but the third attack when he sent whatever it was, like 8 Reaper or 8 or 10 yeah, see, I have the game put it back, 8 or 10 Hellions. Like, you just never recovered from that at all. You just didn't, you never were able to get there from there. Yeah, choke points and things like that. Like, you ran your wings to surround, but you didn't have enough wings, and you had your Banes come in significantly later. They didn't hit the ball of the Marines too well. I'm looking at it right now, which is kind of why I was talking about it. Like, there was just a lot of opportunities to use choke points if you had Hydras. You could have had, your queens were like, didn't infuse very much, if at all. You had a whole bunch of energy on them. You didn't have the larva count to be able to fight your opponent. It was just... My advice is to pick one thing that I called out and focus on that. I would probably focus on a game plan. After the game plan, you're good. Because then you're going to get better at micro, you're going to get better at macro, because you're going to follow that game plan. You're going to go for that thing. You're going to say, I need 20 Lings at this point, because 6 Hellions against the Ling count that I have, plus the Queens, I'm gold. Right? Like, you're going to learn those things. What the pros do is very much that. They literally go out and they play enough games so they know how efficient they can be. They're trying to maximize their income and follow their game plan so that they can win because they are hitting that much harder. That's why 1 or 2 workers can change an entire game as a professional. For you and I, 1 or 2 is not really relevant. It's more like 10, 15. But as you get to the higher levels, as you get up into the Masters from D3, D2, even Plat from that area, right? You can't really claw back as effectively. It's very difficult if you lose 10 workers. It's just probably game over unless it's, 10 minutes into the game where it's like, oh, everybody has 75 plus workers, 10 workers goes down, it's pain, but it's not game over. Maybe you're thinking about sacrificing them anyways because you want to make your army bigger, and you're starting to build a bank, that kind of thing. You also never got close to max out, which Zerg, you basically the best exercise that I've ever seen for Zerg to be the best you can be is just literally max out in roaches at 200, 200 as fast as you can. Just practice that. Then move them across the map. Just practice that like 5-10 games. Realize that you're taking too long to get to that level, right? Because you don't have that fourth base as fast as you should. You don't have enough drones. You drone too late. You built your expansion too early, etc., etc. So, that being said, thank you for watching. It was a it was it was wonderful to cast your game. I look forward to you requesting another review after you've gotten more experience, you've practiced a little bit, and I hope this is helpful. I hope it wasn't too mean, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and thanks for watching.